Being a woman, you have to be a much harder person. You have to be a much stronger person in general. But being in this space, specifically inside the financial markets, you really have to be on top of it. You have to know what you're speaking about. You have to understand the space really well.
Welcome to the Alpha Pod, hosted by me, Jussa. What is Alpha? Alpha in Web3 means information that is not known by many or sometimes that you're hearing first. Not only do we explore the world of Web3, but also speaking with leaders and learning what it takes to build a sustainable business. Today's episode is from an interview in June with Shayra Antia, CEO and co-founder of Touchback. We sat down with her and her partner, Jason Mello, whose episode was last week, and if you haven't seen that one, go check it out, which also expands on their business, Touchback. Everything you're about to hear is not financial advice and is meant for educational purposes only. I don't endorse any of the guests or projects on this show unless specifically expressed. Some of the guests I'm meeting for the first time and learning about their projects in real time as we're recording them. So without further ado, let's tap into the episode.
I am not used to podcasts. I don't do podcasts. Pretty new to the space in that sense.
In the podcast space?
Yeah. First one. What's up, guys? So I'm Shayra Antia. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Touchback. And about myself, oh my God. I got into the crypto space for about 6 years ago now. I bought Bitcoin when it was, 10K. It was like sort of the hype, but it wasn't really the thing. I also, founded a few educational spaces inside the Web3 space. So I started Blockchain University, and then that was very, very pivotal for my personal brand and who I was working with. And around that same time, we started doing events, and we actually ended up doing an event with West Coast Customs Neverland, and that was pretty cool and just life-changing. I ended up getting into really honing down into becoming not just honing down into the technology space, but really getting into this new ideation of what Web3 can look like. And I just saw the differences in between everything, and I was like, oh my God, we need to be able to really get this mass adoption into there. But how do we do this in a really functional way versus being let's go open up a MetaMask, let's go do this, we've done that in the education space, right? We all sat everybody together and we all opened up these wallets and then we showed them how to, get an NFT. But the real foundation was in the technology in the back end. And so I really focused in and I made sure that I got the right partners in this. And I created what is now known as Touchback, and then also my co-founder, which is Jason Mello, and my husband. And so it's been just really amazing. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
Yeah, and so you bought Bitcoin in what you said 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you find Bitcoin?
Yeah, so when I found Bitcoin, it was sort of like a financial speak, right? Everybody was talking about it. People were like, oh, okay, there's this thing, this coin out there called Bitcoin, and people are buying it, and they bought it at 1,000, now it's 10K, and you can make 10K off of it. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I guess. But I mostly saw it as an investment tool,
yeah, versus
anything else. And I said, okay, well, if I have this money in the bank and I have money flowing in, then why not be able to invest inside my financials? And so that's how I started getting into the financial market itself. And that's been so amazing too. So I became a trader, not during that time, but years later, I became a trader. So that was really interesting.
You have a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't the crypto winter during the time when I became a trader. It was in the beginning of COVID. So there was a lot of up.
Yeah. That was a good time then.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Touchback. What is it? We heard a little bit from Jason, but I want to hear from you.
Let's kind of go back into who I am, right? So Touchback is not only, diverse in the fact that I'm a woman, it's a woman-based CEO, but most importantly, I'm also young, so I'm 25, and I really understand the space in so many aspects. And so what I understood is that there was a major gap between the regular businesses and then also for what the mass market was needed. And so when I looked at TouchBrick, I was like, okay, how do we get this concept of just like mass adoption, but then also businesses getting into there? And then I was going to these great like mentorship advisory boards with Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank and Mike Calhoun, which is his partner. And I would be speaking to them and getting a lot of feedback, and they were like, but we still don't understand how to get into the space. And I'm like, how do we get our businesses in there? And I was like, oh, man, I wish there was just a platform to just drag and drop and create smart contracts or something like this. And so that's really where TouchBrick was born, is like this easy flow, drag and drop UI. And how do we define residuals? How do we define wallets? How do we know this in layman terms where we could just plug into our business? And then, we specifically honed into like the Web3 labs of the space. And we figured that there's not that many Web3 labs of the space, but there's a lot of businesses out there that really want to jump into the space. So that's where TouchBrick kind of came and emerged.
Yeah, pretty much everything will be built on the blockchain at some point, right? Like, so having a service like that is quite necessary, because there is going to be a lot of people that, there's people that don't know how to make an Instagram page or Facebook page, but yet every business needs a Facebook page. And so I think when you start to create these tools that people can use to get into this space, it's probably pretty necessary. Do you think that this is going to be, because this is something that I talk about often, is like, the people who understand Web3 and what's going on and crypto and all of that is literally like 1% of the population. It's a very small niche right now, but everybody is going to be using it. Are these tools something that is going to help that? Significantly,
it's going to progress that jump, that scale for these businesses. So right now it's, a lot of these companies like becoming like NFT projects. This is going to bring them to the next scale of where they can really mass market to everybody. And the reason we do this is for just general adoption, right, of the space and what should be the new normal. And I think that because, Web 2 was not, we were speaking about this, Web 2 was a little bit sad, it's not really what we really have an ideal as an ownership economy. And so this is really going to bring that Web3 like mass scale onto there. And then we're doing that by also the platform and then also by widgets that we're adding onto TouchBrick.
Cool. Could you give me like a use case? Like let's pick an industry or somebody and then walk me through how that industry can utilize your platform to integrate Web3 within their business. Do you have one in mind that would be easy for you, or you want me to pick one?
I'll pick one. So one of them has been kind of who is your token holder. So let's say Neverland Labs or another studio is tokenizing a NFT and they want to know who their user is. So what we focused on is identity, and identity is like it could be in different forms. It could be in social logins. So who is that person? Who is holding that token, and how does that flow back into our business? And so TouchBrick is helping with that entire foundation. So even if it's on secondary markets, you can still know who that person is through social logins. And social logins could be Google, it could be your Facebook, it could be something as easy as that.
So those social logins are tokenized, essentially.
The NFT is tokenized, and it's within the smart contract layer.
I see. I know a lot of you late night workers and builders aren't getting enough sleep. Countless studies have shown the importance of sleep and its impact on decision making, overall health, and a lot more. If you plan on building the next big thing, you better be getting good sleep. It's not pulling you from your work, it's a strategy to be better at your work, which is why I've partnered with Honeydew Sleep, the best pillow in the entire world. They have a special copper-infused foam which makes them antimicrobial and temperature regulated. Their unique shape makes it perfect for sleeping on your side, and the adjustable fill allows you to customize it to your liking. Get a Honeydew pillow today using the discount code JUSSUP11, which is the biggest discount you can find on the internet or that they've ever given out. And I have personally slept with this pillow and traveled literally to every crypto conference while carrying the travel pillow. Trust me, I absolutely love this pillow. I'm not exaggerating. So get a pillow. It'll be the best purchase you've ever made for your sleep. Let's get back to the episode. Kind of the first thing that came to my mind as far as an industry would be like a gym. So say you have a gym and they want to integrate Web3 within their gym. Is that, and they could use your service to do that?
Yeah, we can definitely use that as a service. They could be inside there as well. Maybe we can do even data analytics inside of their entire gym. So if you kind of think about, what their BPMs are for this person or something like that, more catered, we can always do that too. And like what those data points go back into the CRM and then also into the blockchain itself, and how those all fundamentally work, and inside of like a staking model or like an earning model.
Yeah, it is live.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm speaking publicly about it. Yeah, I'm very nervous, but not. It's I have to get used to doing these type of things. But I definitely, I'm really happy of where we have came with the idea. And then all the way from the idea to funding, it has just been such a journey.
Because you were recently funded, right?
Yeah, we were recently funded, VC funded.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So wild.
The space moves very quickly, huh?
It does.
But it also feels like it's been forever.
Yeah.
So have you been investigating much of the NFT space, or?
Besides my husband, I'm, kind of right in the forefront of it. So I know about the projects going on, but besides investigating really on my own time, not too much. No.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular in this space that you're really excited about?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm really excited about is really where obviously the platform itself, where it's going to be expanding into, and the type of partnerships that are going to be created through this, and just like how that really opens up so many new doors for people to come in.
I've had a few interviews with women in Web3, and one of kind of the reoccurring themes is there's just not a lot of women in this space. What are some things that you could say that would help encourage women to kind of explore this space, or what is your experience in it?
Being a woman in just in general is not tough, but it's definitely, you have to be a much harder person. You have to be a much stronger person in general. But being in this space, specifically inside the financial markets, you really have to be on top of it. You have to know what you're speaking about. You have to understand the space really well. And so what I think that women should really do is educate themselves inside the space, and just really go for it, and then just deep dive into that one specific market. I think that just goes really long ways for anybody in general.
Yeah.
And then being in the space, it's been amazing. It really has been amazing. I've, had some downs maybe at some points because there is a lot of males inside the room, but for the most part, it's been always just really empowering, if anything, because people are really receptive to a woman being inside of the room. They're always like, okay, well, she's the only woman here, or, there's other women, but we need to hear her voice and her opinion too.
So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes it's the opposite that I hear that's the case. And so from your perspective, that's really cool to hear. Going back to Touchback, something that I don't think we mentioned at all, but it's multi-chain, right?
Yeah, it is multi-chain.
What was the decision for doing that?
We had to be open to fully being agnostic. And we can't just say that one is going to be the winner, one chain is going to be the winner, and that's just not the way to look at this entire space. And there's so many companies in the space that are working with multi-chains. So we definitely felt like we needed a sustainability model. We also needed a multi-chain model. So that was really our focus into that. Well, I'll tell you about three that we're predominantly working on.
Yeah.
So Ethereum, Polygon, and then also Solana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a few more that you guys had. There was 7 total?
Yeah, there were seven total.
Yeah.
Progressively working.
Yeah, and there's so many new chains coming too. It's hard to remember all of them.
Yeah.
What are the things that people can look forward to using your service? What is kind of next for that?
Yeah, the biggest thing is the easy use of it, right? And not having to be, either crypto savvy or having to be a full on developer to be able to read your smart contract. I mean, there's a whole entire area that's being like rejected because of that, right? Like you have to be a developer to go see your smart contract that you're putting out into to all these people and not understand where, your wallets are being held, where these residuals are going, and just there's so many like obscureness inside of it. How are we in a full ownership economy and trustless economy and trustless model if we're not fully trustless even in the development side?
Yeah, which is huge. I mean, there's so many scams in this space in general. Like you could hire a developer, they could create all the contracts, and you never know that they're sending all the money to their own wallet.
Yeah, and it's happened recently too.
Yeah, so I think it's very important to create these trustless models because there are scams happening left and right.
Yeah, so that's really what I'm looking forward to, and I'm like, oh man.
Cool. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Shayra Antia at Instagram.
Do you want to spell that?
Yeah, SHAYRAANTIA, and that's my full name. You can find me on Instagram, or you can find me on Twitter. Twitter, I'm not too active on. LinkedIn, same thing. You can find me on there as well.
You got to get on Twitter. It's where all the Web3 is happening.
So yeah, and then you can also get me on Shayra.com.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's amazing to see you, and it's amazing to really be on here, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.